The giant crystal tower stretched into the purple sky of Nexus Prime. Inside the tower, strange beings from across the galaxy sat in a circle. Some looked like floating lights. Others were made of living crystal. A few appeared as clouds of energy that moved and spoke without bodies. Admiral Hyan-Woo Park walked into the chamber with 2 other humans. Ambassador Ji-Hai Choi carried a metal briefcase filled with data about Earth. Captain Tae-Min Lee stayed close behind them, his hand near his weapon even though he knew it would be useless here. The 3 humans looked very small in the huge room. Around them, the alien council members were at least twice their size. Some floated in the air. Others grew from the floor like living mountains. The humans wore simple black uniforms while the aliens glowed with their own light. "We come before the Galactic Council," Hyan-Woo said in a clear voice. "Humanity requests membership in the Galactic Alliance." The chamber went quiet for a moment. Then a sound filled the air. It took the humans a few seconds to realize what it was. The aliens were laughing. A creature that looked like a jellyfish made of pure light floated forward. This was Counselor Vexithera of the Valdari. When it spoke, its voice sounded like music mixed with thunder. "These carbon-based creatures think they belong with us?" Vexithera said. "They have only just learned to leave their home planet. We have been traveling between stars for millions of years." Another alien made a sound like breaking glass. This was High Archon Zeftil of the Nethek. Its crystal body was as tall as a building and sparkled with inner light. "We have watched these humans," Zeftil said. "They still use fire to power their ships. They throw metal rocks at each other when they fight. How can such simple beings join us?" A cloud of swirling energy spoke next. The Kitharon Collective had no single body. Instead, it was thousands of energy beings that shared one mind. "These humans fight wars among themselves," the collective said in a voice like wind through metal. "They destroy their own planet for resources. They cannot even agree on simple things. How can they work with us when they cannot work with each other?" Ji-Hai stepped forward. She opened her briefcase and pulled out a small device. Pictures appeared in the air showing Earth's cities, its green forests, and its blue oceans. "We have learned to work together," she said. "We stopped the wars that were destroying our world. We learned to heal our planet. We built cities on Mars and the Moon. We may be young, but we learn fast." More laughter filled the chamber. This time it was so loud that the humans had to cover their ears. A creature that looked like a spider made of black metal clicked forward on 8 legs. This was Chancellor Morden of the Sectari. "Young?" Morden said. "You are babies playing with toys. We create energy from nothing. We can change matter with our thoughts. We live forever. What can you possibly offer us?" Hyan-Woo felt anger building in his chest, but he kept his voice calm. "We offer our friendship. We offer new ideas. You offer nothing," Vexithera interrupted. "You are barely more advanced than the animals on your world. Perhaps in 1,000 years, when you have learned to control energy and matter, we might let you clean our ships." The other council members made sounds of agreement. Some buzzed like insects. Others rang like bells. The energy beings flickered with what might have been amusement. Zeftil's crystal body changed color from blue to red. "Return to your small blue world, humans. Play with your metal ships and fire engines. When you grow up, maybe we will notice you again." Captain Tae-Min watched everything carefully. He noticed something the others missed. Some of the aliens were looking at star maps that showed human space. They were dividing it up like pieces of cake. Security creatures that looked like floating metal spheres surrounded the humans. Without words, they were being told to leave. As they walked out of the chamber, Ji-Hai felt tears in her eyes. "We prepared for months," she whispered. "We thought they would at least listen." "They listened," Tae-Min said quietly. "The question is what they heard." Back on their ship, the 3 humans sat in silence as they left Nexus Prime behind. The crystal planet grew smaller until it was just another star in the black sky. "Did you see the maps?" Tae-Min asked finally. "What maps?" Hyan-Woo replied. "Some of the council members were looking at charts of our space. They were marking planets and trade routes. I think they were deciding who gets what." Ji-Hai looked up from her tablet where she had been reviewing the meeting. "You think they want to invade us?" "I think they want our space," Tae-Min said. "The question is whether they want us alive or dead when they take it." Hyan-Woo stared out at the stars. "Send a message to Earth Command. Tell them the meeting did not go as planned. Tell them to start preparing for the worst." As their ship jumped into faster-than-light travel, none of the humans saw the alien ships that began following them. Hidden in sensor shadows and cloaked by advanced technology, a dozen vessels tracked the human ship back toward Earth. On Nexus Prime, the Council continued their meeting. The laughter had stopped. Now they spoke in serious tones about the human problem. They reproduce too fast, Mordoon said, and they adapt too quickly. In a few hundred years, they might actually become dangerous. Better to deal with them now, Vexithara agreed, while they are still weak. Their genetic material could be useful, the Kitharon Collective added. We have been searching for new biological patterns. These humans might provide what we need. Zeftol's crystal body glowed brighter. Then we are agreed. We take their worlds, we study their biology, and we eliminate any who resist. It will be simple. The council members made sounds of agreement. To them, humanity was just another primitive species to be conquered and studied. They had done this hundreds of times before. But as their ships began moving toward human space, none of them realized they had made a terrible mistake. They had judged humanity by their technology and their appearance. They had not looked deeper. They had not seen the fire that burned in human hearts. They had not understood the strength that came from being told you were nothing. Most importantly, they had forgotten that the most dangerous enemy is not the strongest one or the smartest one. It is the one with nothing left to lose. 6 months had passed since the meeting at Nexus Prime. Earth had tried to forget the humiliation, but Captain Taemin Lee could not stop thinking about those star maps. He had requested a transfer to Deep Space Command, where humanity watched for threats from the outer rim of their territory. The monitoring station on Pluto was humanity's furthest outpost. From here, powerful sensors could detect ships jumping between stars. On a cold Tuesday morning, those sensors began screaming warnings. Captain Lee, Ensign Kyungmin Han called from his station. I'm reading massive energy signatures. Multiple fleet movements across 17 different systems. Taemin rushed to look at the display. Dozens of alien ships were moving through space in organized patterns. The ships were huge, each one larger than Earth's biggest space stations. Are they coming toward us? Taemin asked. No, sir, Kyungmin replied. They're moving in all directions, but they're all coming from Galactic Council space. On Earth, Dr. So-Young Kim was having trouble sleeping. The xenobiology expert had been studying the recordings from Nexus Prime for months. Something about the alien laughter bothered her, but she could not figure out what. Late one night in her lab at Titan Research Institute, she made a discovery that changed everything. She was running the audio through different filters when she noticed patterns in the alien sounds. The laughter was not just mockery. It was structured like a code. Computer, analyze the harmonic frequencies in the Valdari laughter, she said. The computer worked for several minutes. Then words appeared on her screen. Harmonic patterns suggest encrypted communication protocol. So-Young sat up straight. What about the Nethek crystal sounds? Similar encryption detected. Pattern suggests data transfer. Her hands shook as she called up the Kitharon energy fluctuations. Computer, combine all 3 patterns and attempt decryption. The most powerful computers on Earth worked for 3 days. Finally, they cracked the code hidden in the alien laughter. What So-Young read made her blood run cold. The message was simple. Agreed. Human space divided as discussed. Valdari take outer colonies. Nethek claim core worlds. Kitharon harvest biological samples. Begin in 6 months, So-Young called General Do Hyun-yoon immediately. Within hours, she was standing in front of Earth's military leaders in an underground bunker in Colorado. They were not just mocking us, she explained to the room full of generals and admirals. They were planning to take our territory. The whole council meeting was a setup. They wanted to see us up close before they attacked. General Yoon studied the translated messages. Why wait 6 months? I think they needed time to move their fleets, So-Young said. These are ancient races. They do not rush. They plan carefully. Admiral Hyan-Woo Park, who had been silent during the briefing, finally spoke. There is something else. We assumed they saw us as a threat to be eliminated. But look at this message again. They want to harvest our biological samples. They do not just want our space. They want us. Dr. So-Young nodded. I have been studying their biology from the scanner data. These aliens have achieved technological perfection, but they have paid a price. They have stopped evolving. Some of their species are dying out because they cannot adapt to new challenges. And they think we can help them? General Yoon asked. Human DNA is still changing and adapting, So-Young explained. We are one of the youngest species in the galaxy, but we might be one of the most genetically flexible. They want to study us, use our genetic material to save themselves. Like cattle, Admiral Park said quietly. President Min-Ho An was called to an emergency session of the World Council. Leaders from every nation on Earth gathered in the United Nations building in New York. The news was shared with all of humanity at once. President An addressed the world from the UN podium. Citizens of Earth, we face a threat unlike anything in human history. Alien fleets are moving toward our space. They do not come in peace. They come to conquer us and use us for their own purposes. Panic spread across Earth, but it was mixed with something else. Anger. Humanity had tried to join the galactic community peacefully. They had been laughed at and dismissed. Now those same aliens wanted to make them slaves. The first attacks began 2 weeks later. Commander Unji Seo was leading a patrol near the Kepler 442 system when her sensors detected unknown ships. "This is Commander Seo of the UCS Horizon," she broadcast on all frequencies. "Unknown vessels, identify yourselves." The response came in the form of energy beams that tore through her escort ships like paper. The alien vessels were beautiful and terrible, their hulls glowing with inner light. But their weapons were devastating. "All ships, emergency jump," Unji ordered. "Get back to Earth." Only half her fleet made it out. The alien ships did not pursue. Instead, they landed on the human colonies below. Within hours, reports came back from the few survivors who escaped. The aliens were not killing everyone. They were taking people, scientists, soldiers, children, adults. They loaded them onto their ships like cargo. They also took genetic samples from animals and plants. They downloaded every computer they could find. "It is exactly like a harvest," reported Captain Daewon Park, one of the few who escaped. "They take what they want and leave the rest to die." More attacks followed. The alien fleets moved systematically through human space, taking some colonies and ignoring others. There was no pattern that human strategists could understand. General Yoon gathered Earth's military leaders for an emergency planning session. "We have 18 months, he announced. Maybe less. The main alien fleets will reach the inner colonies by then. Mars, the asteroid belt, and then Earth itself. What are our options?" asked Admiral Sarah Kim, head of the colonial fleet. "We cannot match their technology," General Yoon admitted. "Their ships are faster, their weapons are stronger, their defenses are better. In a direct fight, we will lose." "Then we do not fight directly," said Colonel Woo Jin Park, a Special Forces officer. "We fight smart. We fight dirty if we have to." Admiral Park stood up slowly. "The aliens made one mistake. They think they know us. They think they understand what humans are capable of. But they have only seen us at our most polite and peaceful." "What do you mean?" President An asked. "They have never seen us at war," Admiral Park replied. "Real war. The kind of war where we fight for our families, our homes, our right to exist. They think they are dealing with the humans who came to their council meeting with briefcases and polite speeches." General Yoon smiled grimly. "They are about to meet very different humans." Orders went out across human space. Every colony, every ship, every military base received the same message. Prepare for total war. No surrender. No retreat. Make them pay for every inch of space they take. Humanity began to change. The polite, peaceful species that had asked for membership in the Galactic Alliance was disappearing. In its place, something harder and more dangerous was being born. The aliens had wanted to harvest humanity. They were about to discover that humans were much harder to harvest than they thought. Deep beneath the surface of the moon, humanity's greatest minds worked in secret laboratories that had been carved from solid rock. The Luna Base complex stretched for miles underground, hidden from alien sensors by layers of metal and stone. Dr. Young-hee Bayek stood before a wall covered with pictures of alien ships and weapons. She had been studying every piece of data about the enemy for months. What she found surprised her. "The aliens are too advanced," she told her team of engineers and scientists. "That sounds strange, but it is their weakness. They rely completely on their energy technology. They have forgotten how to fight simple wars." Colonel Woo Jin Park studied the alien ship designs. Their shields are designed to stop energy weapons and plasma beams. "But what about old-fashioned explosives?" "That is exactly what I was thinking," Dr. Beck replied. "We cannot match their technology, so we use technology they have forgotten about. Nuclear weapons, kinetic projectiles, chemical explosives, things that work by physics, not by advanced science." In another part of the Luna base, Commander Subin Jang was training a new kind of soldier. The guerrilla Space Corps was made up of pilots who learned to fight like pirates instead of like proper military officers. Forget everything you know about space combat, she told her trainees. The aliens expect us to form battle lines and fight fair. We will not fight fair. We will hide in asteroid fields. We will attack from behind. We will hit them and run away before they can hit back. Lieutenant Min-Soo Choi raised his hand. But Commander, our ships are smaller and weaker than theirs. How can we do any real damage? Subin smiled. Because we will be like mosquitoes. One mosquito cannot kill a person, but 1,000 mosquitoes can drive a person crazy. We will attack them everywhere at once. They will not know which threat to deal with first. The breakthrough came from an unexpected place. Dr. Jae-won Moon was a psychologist, not a military strategist, but he had been studying the alien behavior patterns from the council meeting recordings. Each alien species has become too specialized, he explained to the military leaders. The Valdari can only think in terms of energy manipulation. The Nethek work through harmonic resonance. The Kitharon function as a group mind. They have become perfect at what they do, but they cannot adapt to new situations. General Do Hyun Yoon leaned forward. What does that mean for us? It means they cannot understand unpredictability, Dr. Moon replied. They will study our past battles and try to predict what we will do next. But if we keep changing our tactics, if we do things that make no logical sense, they will not be able to respond effectively. The first test of these theories came sooner than expected. A Valdari scouting fleet appeared at the edge of the Proxima Centauri system. Captain Hye-jin Kwan was there with a small patrol force. The alien ships were beautiful, glowing with blue energy that pulsed like heartbeats. They moved in perfect formation, their weapons charging with visible power. All ships prepare for battle, Captain Kwan ordered. But instead of forming a battle line, she did something no military manual would recommend. Scatter. Each ship pick a different target. Use whatever weapons you want. Do not follow any pattern. The human ships broke apart like an explosion. Some attacked with missiles. Others used laser cannons. 2 ships simply rammed the alien vessels at full speed. One pilot ejected his entire cargo hold of metal containers at an enemy ship like a shotgun blast. The Valdari formation fell apart. Their energy weapons were designed to fight other energy-based ships in organized battles. They could not understand why the humans were acting so randomly. Some alien ships tried to target the ramming vessels but were hit by missiles from a different direction. Others focused on the missile ships but were blinded by the metal containers. When the battle was over, 3 alien ships were destroyed and 2 were badly damaged. The humans lost only 1 ship, and that was the one that rammed an alien vessel on purpose. How did we win? Asked Ensign Young-ho Nam over the radio. Because we did not try to win, Captain Kwan replied. We just tried to confuse them long enough to hurt them. News of the victory spread quickly through human space. For the first time since the war began, humanity had proof that the aliens could be beaten. Engineer Dongmin Park led the team that studied the captured alien technology. What they found was both encouraging and terrifying. Their technology is incredibly advanced, he reported, but it is also incredibly complex. Every system depends on every other system. If we can disrupt one part, the whole ship might stop working. Like destroying the engine to stop a car? Asked General Yoon. More like unplugging one wire to crash a computer, Dongmin replied. Their ships are so interconnected that a small disruption can cause massive failures. This led to the development of the virus bomb, a simple device that sent random electrical signals into alien computer systems. It did not try to hack their technology or understand it. It just created chaos in their networks. Major Soo-jin Lee tested the first virus bomb against a captured alien fighter. The device was no bigger than a cell phone, but when it activated, the alien ship's lights went out and it crashed to the ground. It does not destroy their technology, she explained. It just makes their technology too confused to work. As the months passed, humanity prepared for the main alien assault. They could not build bigger ships or better weapons in time. Instead, they changed how they thought about war itself. Captain In-suk Yang trained her pilots to fight like wild animals instead of disciplined soldiers. When a wolf pack attacks a bear, she told them, they do not try to be bigger than the bear. They attack from all sides, bite and run, never stay in one place. Eventually, the bear gets tired and makes a mistake. Admiral Seung-ho Lim developed battle plans that had no real structure. Each ship captain will decide their own tactics during battle, he announced. Do not follow orders from headquarters. Do not try to coordinate with other ships. Just attack however you think is best. This horrified the traditional military officers, but Dr. Moon supported the plan. The aliens will try to predict our strategy by observing our command structure, he explained. If we have no command structure, they cannot predict anything. The preparation phase reached its climax when humanity developed its most important weapon, controlled chaos. It was not a device or a ship. It was a way of thinking. The aliens have spent millions of years becoming perfect, Dr. Beck explained to the assembled military leaders. They have forgotten how to deal with imperfection. They cannot understand mistakes, accidents, or random events, so we will give them all three at the same time. General Yoon studied the battle plans spread across the table. They looked more like art projects than military strategies. No two plans were the same. Some involved direct attacks. Others involved running away. A few involved pretending to surrender and then attacking when the aliens got close. This is madness, he said finally. Exactly, Dr. Moon replied with a smile. That is why it will work. The main alien fleets were only 6 months away from Earth. Humanity was as ready as they could ever be. They had turned their greatest weakness, their unpredictability and chaos, into their greatest strength. The aliens were about to learn that some prey fights back in ways that no predator can understand. The main alien fleets arrived at the edge of human space on a Tuesday morning. Admiral Seong-ho Lim watched from his command ship as hundreds of alien vessels dropped out of hyperspace near Jupiter. The ships were massive and beautiful, each one glowing with its own inner light. They are even bigger than our intelligence report suggested, reported Commander Hae-won Kim from her sensor station. The largest ship is over 10 kilometers long. Size does not matter, Admiral Lim replied calmly. Bigger ships make bigger targets. Signal all human forces. Operation Babel begins now. Operation Babel was humanity's response to alien perfection. Instead of meeting the enemy in traditional fleet battles, human ships attacked from everywhere at once. Some came from the asteroid belt. Others dropped out of hyperspace behind the alien formation. A few came straight up from Jupiter's atmosphere where they had been hiding. The alien fleet commander, a Valdari energy being named Veltan, watched the human attack with something like amusement. The human ships were tiny compared to his vessels. Their weapons looked primitive and simple. Destroy them quickly, he ordered his fleet. We have colonies to harvest. But as the battle began, Veltan discovered that the humans did not fight like any enemy he had faced before. Instead of organized attack formations, they swarmed like angry insects. Some ships attacked his largest vessels with missiles. Others ignored the big ships completely and attacked his support craft. A few human ships just flew in circles, shooting randomly. What is their strategy? Asked his tactical officer, a younger Valdari named Kexran. I do not know, Veltan admitted. For the first time in centuries of warfare, a Valdari commander was confused. Captain In-suk Yang led the most dangerous mission of the day. Her task was to infiltrate a Nethek command crystal, a living computer the size of a building that controlled their entire fleet. The Nethek ship looked like a floating cathedral made of blue crystal. Beautiful harmonic music came from its surface as the crystal beings communicated with each other. Yang's small stealth ship approached the Nethek vessel like a tiny fly approaching a glass mountain. Remember, she told her crew over the intercom, we are not trying to understand their technology, we are just going to break it. Her team carried simple sonic weapons, devices that produced random noise at high volume. When they penetrated the Nethek ship and activated their weapons, the result was immediate and devastating. The harmonic crystal beings had evolved to communicate through perfect musical frequencies. When Yang's team introduced random noise into their ship, the Nethek could no longer talk to each other. Worse, their own communication attempts began creating feedback loops that shattered their crystal bodies. Within minutes, the most advanced command ship in the Nethek fleet was dead in space, its crew destroyed by their own perfection. Major Dongwu Shin faced an even stranger challenge. His squadron was fighting the Kitharon Collective, a group mind that controlled dozens of energy-based ships. The collective could predict human tactics by analyzing battle patterns and making logical decisions. All pilots, listen carefully, Shin broadcast to his 12 fighters. From this moment on, ignore all orders from me or anyone else. Each pilot will choose their own targets and tactics. Do whatever feels right to you personally." "Sir, that makes no sense," replied Lieutenant Bo-Ra Song. "Exactly," Shin answered. "Do it anyway." The human fighters broke formation and began attacking in completely individual ways. Lieutenant Song decided to attack the largest enemy ship. Ensign Changmin Ryu chose to hide behind an asteroid and snipe at passing targets. Pilot Yuna Park started flying in loops while shooting at everything she could see. The Kitharon Collective tried to predict what the humans would do next, but there was no pattern to predict. Each human pilot was making decisions based on personal instinct rather than tactical training. The Collective, which thought with perfect logic, could not understand or counter such random behavior. "Impossible," the Collective whispered across all its ships. "They have no coordination. They have no strategy. How can they be effective?" But they were effective. While the Collective was trying to analyze human behavior, the human fighters were destroying Collective ships one by one. The turning point came when Dr. Kyung-Soo Choi made a discovery that changed the entire war. He had been studying captured alien technology for months, trying to understand how their advanced systems worked. "I found their weakness," he announced during an emergency meeting on Luna Base. "All alien technology is connected to central processing networks. They have master computers that control everything: weapons, shields, life support, navigation. If we can destroy those computers, their entire fleets will be helpless." "Where are these computers located?" asked General Yoon. "On Nexus Prime," Dr. Choi replied. "The same planet where they humiliated our diplomats. All alien technology across the galaxy connects back to master systems there. This led to the most dangerous mission in human history. Commander Haiwan Kim volunteered to lead a strike team to Nexus Prime itself. Her job was to destroy the central alien computer network using humanity's most primitive weapons. "You want to attack the most advanced computer systems in the galaxy with conventional explosives?" Admiral Lim asked. "Their quantum computers and energy matrices are designed to defend against other advanced technology," Kim explained. "They have no defenses against simple chemical bombs. It would be like using a sword to fight a laser. The laser cannot target something so primitive." Kim's team consisted of 12 volunteers, each carrying backpacks full of old-fashioned explosives. They used a captured alien ship to reach Nexus Prime, pretending to be returning from a successful harvest mission. The crystal spires of Nexus Prime stretched toward the sky like frozen lightning. Inside the largest spire, quantum computers the size of cities processed information from across the galaxy. The alien guards, energy beings, and crystal entities paid no attention to what looked like another alien ship landing at the spaceport. Kim's team split up and entered the computer complex through different entrances. They looked like maintenance workers or servants to the alien guards, who did not imagine that primitive humans could threaten their most secure facility. The explosions began at exactly noon, local time. Simple chemical bombs detonated throughout the computer complex, destroying quantum processors and energy matrices that had operated for millions of years. The aliens had built defenses against every kind of advanced attack, but no one had prepared for someone to blow up their computers with dynamite. Within hours, the effects were felt across the galaxy. Alien ships lost navigation and communication. Weapons systems shut down. Life support failed on some vessels. The perfect technology that had made the aliens feel superior to all other species suddenly stopped working. On Earth, Intelligence Director Byung-hun Ryu was monitoring alien communications when he noticed something interesting. The aliens had been using encrypted channels to coordinate their attacks, but now those channels were carrying something else entirely. "They are arguing," he reported to the military leadership. "The different alien species are blaming each other for the failure. The Valdari say the Nethek should have protected the computers better. The Nethek blame the Kitharon for not predicting human tactics. The Collective is accusing everyone of incompetence." But the most important discovery came when human forces intercepted unencrypted alien messages. Director Ryu had been listening to alien communications for months, but suddenly he could understand everything they were saying. "They have been lying to other species in the galaxy," he announced during an emergency broadcast to all human forces. "The Galactic Council has been planning to harvest Not just humanity, but dozens of other primitive species. They consider themselves the master races who deserve to rule over everyone else. This intelligence was immediately broadcast across the galaxy on all frequencies. Species that had remained neutral in the human-alien war suddenly learned that they were next on the harvest list. The Zephyrian Confederacy, a peaceful trading alliance, immediately declared war on the Galactic Council. The Thorian Republic, which had been staying out of the conflict, sent their battle fleets to support human forces. Even some of the Council's own client species began to rebel. The aliens made the same mistake that bullies always make, explained Dr. Moon during a strategy meeting. They thought their victims would never fight back. They never imagined that their victims might work together. Within 6 months of the first alien attack, the war had spread across the entire galaxy. What had started as an alien attempt to harvest humanity had become a galactic civil war between oppressors and the oppressed. Admiral Lim stood on the bridge of his flagship as human and allied forces prepared for the final assault on the remaining council fleets. "It is strange," he said to his staff. "They came to harvest us because they thought we were weak. Now, they are learning exactly how strong prey can be when it decides to fight back." The hunters had become the hunted, and humanity was no longer alone in the galaxy. 1 year after the humiliation at Nexus Prime, Admiral Hyun-Woo Park stood in the same crystal chamber where the Galactic Council had once mocked humanity. But everything was different now. The beautiful spires were dark and cracked. The energy matrices that had powered the alien computers lay in ruins. Emergency lighting cast strange shadows across walls that had once glowed with their own power. Park was not alone this time. Behind him stood representatives from 47 different species, all the civilizations the Council had planned to harvest or destroy. The Zephyrian traders stood next to Thorian warriors, peaceful plant-based beings from the Outer Rim, shared space with mechanical entities from the core worlds. In the center of the chamber, inside containment fields that hummed with human-built technology, waited the surviving members of the Galactic Council. They no longer glowed with inner light. Their perfect forms looked dimmed and broken. Speaker Ja-Young Lee stepped forward to address the assembly. She had been chosen to represent the new alliance, not because she was the strongest or the smartest, but because she understood what it meant to be underestimated. "1 year ago, you laughed at us," she said to the captured council members. "You called us primitive. You said we were children playing with toys. You told us to come back when we had learned to transcend our violent nature." The remaining Veldari representative, Vexithara, flickered weakly in its containment field. You destroyed everything. Millions of years of advancement. You set back galactic civilization by millennia." "No," Speaker Lee replied calmly. "We ended galactic tyranny. There is a difference," Engineer Namguk O stepped forward carrying a device that looked like a strange mixture of human and alien technology. It glowed with soft blue light, but the glow was warm and inviting rather than cold and distant. "This is what we learned from your technology," he explained to the assembly. "We took your energy manipulation systems and combined them with human intuition. The result works better than either technology alone." High Archon Zeftul of the Nethek resonated with a sound like breaking glass. "Impossible. Our technology is perfect. It cannot be improved." "That was your mistake," Engineer O replied. "Perfect things cannot grow. They cannot adapt. They cannot learn. Our hybrid systems are not perfect, but they are alive. They change as we learn more." Dr. Yeonseo Han approached the containment fields with her medical scanner. She had spent the past year studying the captured aliens, and what she had discovered was both sad and enlightening. "You stopped evolving," she said to the council members, "not just technologically, but biologically and mentally. You achieved everything you wanted to achieve, and then you stopped growing. Some of your species are actually dying out because you cannot adapt to new challenges." The Kitharon Collective pulsed with angry energy. "We achieved perfection. We transcended the need for change. We became gods." "Gods do not learn," Dr. Han replied gently. "Gods do not grow. Gods do not make friends or discover new things. You became gods, but you forgot how to be alive." President Min Ho-an stepped forward to deliver the formal judgment of the new alliance. "You are given a choice," he announced. "You can adapt to the new reality and contribute to the Galactic Alliance as equal members, or you can remain in stasis, frozen in your technological perfection forever. Equal members? Vexthara asked. You would treat us as equals after what we tried to do to you? The new alliance is built on equality and cooperation, President An explained. Every species contributes what they do best. Humans provide adaptability and innovation. The Zephyrians offer trade and diplomacy. The Thorians bring military strength. Even you could contribute your advanced technology, if you choose to work with us instead of trying to rule over us. Engineer O demonstrated the hybrid technology again. Look at what we accomplished when we combined human and alien science. Neither species could have built this alone. Together, we created something new and better. Most of the council members chose adaptation over stasis. The alternative was to remain frozen in containment fields forever, unable to change or grow, even for beings who had convinced themselves they were perfect. The idea of eternal stagnation was terrifying. The Valdari agreed to share their energy manipulation technology in exchange for human genetic research that might help their dying species learn to adapt again. The Nethek offered their harmonic computers to help build better communication networks across the galaxy. Even the Kitharon Collective decided to experiment with individual thought patterns based on human psychology. Only a few of the most arrogant council members chose stasis over cooperation. They remained in their containment fields, perfect and unchanging and alone. Admiral Park looked around the chamber at the mixed crowd of humans and aliens working together. It is strange, he said to Speaker Lee. A year ago we came here asking to join their club. Now they are asking to join ours. It was never about clubs, Lee replied. It was about respect. They saw us as resources to be harvested. We see them as people to be understood. Dr. Moon, the psychologist who had first understood alien weakness, addressed the new alliance members. The old Galactic Council failed because they believed in hierarchy. Someone had to be on top and someone had to be on the bottom. The new alliance succeeds because we believe in cooperation. Everyone contributes. Everyone benefits. The formal signing of the new Galactic Alliance Charter took place in the same chamber where humanity had once been humiliated. Representatives from dozens of species signed the document using their own traditional methods. Some wrote with energy beams. Others sang harmonic signatures. The humans used simple ink pens. Commander Subin Jang, who had trained the Guerrilla Space Corps, spoke to a group of young alien recruits who wanted to learn human tactical flexibility. The secret is not to be unpredictable, she explained. The secret is to be adaptable. Change your plans when the situation changes. Learn from your mistakes. Never assume that what worked yesterday will work tomorrow. The new alliance faced many challenges. Different species had different needs and different ways of thinking. But they had learned the most important lesson of the war. Diversity was strength, not weakness. Engineer Park led a joint research team that included humans, Valdari, Nethek, and representatives from 12 other species. We are not trying to create perfect technology, he explained to his mixed team. We are trying to create technology that can grow and change with us. The galaxy was different now. Instead of a few powerful species ruling over many weak ones, there was a network of cooperation that stretched across thousands of star systems. Trade flowed freely. Knowledge was shared openly. Young beings from different species worked and learned together. But perhaps the most important change was in how the galaxy thought about strength and weakness. Speaker. Lee delivered the final address to the Alliance Assembly. The old council thought strength meant never changing. They believed that perfection was the highest goal. They were wrong. True strength comes from the ability to grow, to learn, to adapt to new challenges. She gestured toward the mixed crowd of beings in the chamber. Look around you. A year ago, most of our species had never met. Today, we work together as equals. We learn from each other. We help each other solve problems that none of us could solve alone. The old council asked us to return when we learned to transcend our violent nature. We did something better. We learned to transcend the need to transcend. We embraced what we are, imperfect, struggling, but always moving forward. And that made all the difference. Admiral Park had the final word. They came to harvest us because they thought we were weak. They discovered that the strongest species in the galaxy is not the one with the best technology or the most perfect society. The strongest species is the one that never stops learning, never stops growing, and never stops helping others do the same. The new Galactic Alliance grew stronger every year, not because its members achieved perfection, but because they never stopped trying to become better than they were yesterday. The galaxy had learned that evolution never truly stops. It just needed the right teachers to show the way forward.